there's as many different types of yoga as there are souls. So that thought is kind of to keep it light and to keep things kind of flowy, which is the nature of vinyasa. And it's designed to adapt to your body and to each individual student's bodies and their needs for that day. So their needs for their body type, their mind type, and their spirit type, what drives them and what they're looking for, or what they are using the tools of this hatha yoga, the physical practice of yoga, what they're using those tools towards, and then also just how they are that day. So I've read that Krishnamacharya would meet his students at the gate, thus beginning the process, the sequence, and then he would like walk them into the studio and teach them, follow this flow, and then walk them out and finish the class from start to finish, guiding the whole way, and was very intentional about each step of the flow. And the idea is that each step has its own importance as a posture or as an action, like greeting someone at the gate. And then, so each step is its own complete action. And then also each step of the yoga class, or each step of your day, or each step of the class, Scott, that you're teaching, has builds on the previous moment or the previous action. So vinyasa builds on itself, and it's also an instruction for your life or for your day. Each part of your life building on, and yet separate and whole unto its moment, unto itself, but building on itself in a way that moves you towards your goals, let's say, or moves you towards feeling better, stronger, and more in your intelligence and in your flow. So each part of your day, each thing that comes to you, you just sort of accept in that moment as perfect and as part of the process of where you're at. And then you also work with it and allow it to inform your next action. But a cool thing in Vinyasa yoga, one of the nice practices that has really helped me, is that as you're flowing, you'll see you're going to anticipate the next movement. So you'll be like, warrior one. And then after like 3 breaths in warrior one, you're like, okay, warrior two, let's go. But the teacher may hold you for 10, 20 breaths in warrior one so that you drop into the moment and treat it as whole unto itself without anticipating the next thing, always anticipating the next future movement. It's going to come, but that moment of warrior one doesn't need warrior two. It's just where you're at right there. And for me, that was just kind of revolutionary when I started to practice it. It was like, wait, like just being here now over and over again for a full hour or hour and 15 minutes. And the sort of ritual starting and finishing the same way as bookends or as creating a container for your practice is a really cool thing. So, you know, if you're like, I want to bake bread, and then you look up a recipe and you're like, okay, I'm going to try it. And then in the middle of that recipe, you're like, I'm going to try this other recipe. And then you open a different one. And then you follow some of those steps. And then you open a different one to finish the loaf of bread. And you've used 3 recipes to do the whole process. It's not going to feel as contained, and as it's probably not going to come out in the way that was like the tastiest. And then maybe you could think of it as like using one recipe for like a whole year and really perfecting that recipe, and how you get really, really familiar with it so that you no longer even have to look at it, but instead you're just feeling out, okay, I'm going to weigh out this many grams of flour I'm going to need for this long. And you can tell, you know what, today it's colder in my kitchen. I'm going to let it rise for a little bit longer. I don't need the recipe. I'm going to feel that out. And then the next step after it rises and you can feel it, I already know what the recipe calls for. But I think I'll do it maybe this way this time. So instead of a lot of different methods, recipes, you're using one way of starting and finishing and one set of postures or steps of the recipe each time so that you get really familiar with it, and then you can just alter it based on your own intuition and your own realization of what's going on in your kitchen or your ingredients that day, that time that you're making bread. So that's the beauty of a practice. It doesn't have to be a daily practice, but eventually it might become that for you. Or you could include other types of yoga, like meditation, and create your own daily practice. It doesn't have to be what another teacher is teaching their students, like a daily vinyasa practice that starts with pranayama and ends with meditation. If you could do that daily, or if you could do that 3 times a week, awesome. But you may have your own daily practice. Like every day I wake up and take some breaths and have my coffee before looking at my screen, and there's my yoga. Or every day I journal a little bit because I'm a creative writer and I'm moving towards that. But you will develop your own dinacharya, your own daily routine. And taking instruction from a specific path or a specific type of yoga, you could refine that to a way that fits your day. And it might change throughout your life or throughout the seasons of a year. So, but the idea is that a practice, it's okay for it to be fluid and flexible, but a practice is there for repetition. And in the repetition and in the commitment to a practice, you create like this safe, comfortable place for yourself that you can always return to and then work with and change and alter. But it's always there for you as a tool, getting more and more familiar. What else did I want to say? Oh, I didn't mention that the guru or the teacher of Ashtanga Yoga his name was Sri Patabi Joyce, and he was also a student of Krishnamacharya. So those are I'm just giving you giving this type of yoga, honoring the roots and the history of it. Yoga has not ever really been written down, including all the Vedas, the Rig Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, all these really awesome texts. And some of them are like very, very long. Over thousands of years, they were memorized and passed on orally. And Krishnamacharya I don't think he wrote any books. He never claimed it as his own. He never tried to make money off of it in a way of, I think he accepted payment, but he never tried to brand it. It was just the practice and what he was here to offer. And that is the true roots of yoga, is that we don't have to write it down. It just is. Those who practice it, you'll pass it on to them, and it's like a releasing attachment to the outcome. Not trying to keep it an exact, your own exact practice, but understanding that whatever yoga you're teaching is going to change and be altered by your students. So yeah, Krishnamacharya emphasized that Vinyasa is an artful approach to living and a way of applying the skill and awareness of yoga to all the rhythms and sequences of life, including self-care, relationships, work, and personal evolution. Any questions about kind of like the history or idea of Vinyasa? I don't want to get too much into what is yoga because that'd be another class. But I will say that yoga is a system of moving towards freedom or enlightenment, and hatha yoga, the postures, are a way to stay clear physically. They are a way. It's a way of daily working with daily fluctuations of your mind and body. So the asana practice, we call them asanas, postures. And I'm not claiming to be saying all these words right. I'm just doing my best, but I have never gone to India and studied Sanskrit, and I do my best, but asana, I think, is how it's pronounced. Asana. Yoga, as we know it, especially in the West, is practiced mostly from this like 8-limbed system that basically begins with the physical body, what we're about to learn, and adds in breath, pranayama. I wish I could screen share this shot, but I will, in the notes, I will add this picture of the 8 limbs of yoga as laid out by this man, Patanjali. Again, I don't want to get too much into it, but you could Google Patanjali and see the full big picture of yoga and where you are eventually moving. But Patanjali, he didn't actually write, but he spoke a text called the Yoga Sutras, and he said, yoga is stilling the fluctuations of the mind. And Krishnamacharya, I think, is the one who really took that and made it popular to bring meditation into movement. So a lot of these like scriptures and these texts leave it up to you as to how to interpret it. But Patanjali said yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. It's like, okay, first we're practicing physical postures, and then you move through physical postures into breath, into meditation. So you get more and more subtle. First, we're going to work with the physical parts of our being, and then also we're going to start to add in breath. And then by the end of your yoga class, if you eventually were to become interested in going deeper towards the path of freedom and samadhi, you would then start to meditate daily and start to really still the fluctuations of the mind through different mantras and different pranayam, and then eventually absorbing your consciousness, stilling the fluctuations of the mind so that you can absorb your consciousness into a bliss state, into your true self or connection with source energy. So that is the original idea. It sounds maybe out of our league, but it's really not. It's available to anyone in one lifetime. So yoga is known for its belief in reincarnation, and I've heard people say like, yeah, yoga is all about like achieving this over many, many lifetimes. And that, it's true, but also Yogananda says full freedom from your quirks, your suffering, your specific pain, your anger, your frustration, or your whatever tendencies you have is possible for anyone in one lifetime. So you don't have to treat it as like such a long picture, like, oh, I'll just party this lifetime and maybe in 5 lifetimes I'll be ready to meditate. It's like, no, you could do both. You don't have to be perfect to sit down and meditate. You can have a drinking problem. Yogananda talks about that. He's like, don't worry about trying to quit drinking. Just try to add in meditation. Eventually it will fall away. Don't beat yourself up. And that's the opposite of moving towards freedom. Okay, so that was a little tangent. While we're seated, and then we'll get up and move, but oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to mention. This is from the words of Shiva Ray, and she is just an amazing modern Western yoga teacher, and she wrote this article that I could send you. And she is talking about how the Vinyasa method builds and sustains energy, prana, life force energy. She says, the Vinyasa method has many teachings to offer about how to build and sustain our capacity for action. So anything we want to do in the world, go for a hike, climb our career ladder and make more money, go deeper into friendships or relationships, build a house, play an instrument, anything. All those goals are great. And they are all a way of moving us along our evolutionary path. So anything you have a desire to do, go for it. If it's a real heart desire, it's there for a reason. You pursue it. You use this method of vinyasa, of sequencing, of building on, of daily or weekly or regular practice to reach your goal. She says, one of the primary teachings is to align and initiate action from our breath, our life force energy, prana. Our breath, prana is breath, and prana is the subtle life force behind the breath. It's both. There's a physical component and an energetic layer to everything we're doing in yoga. As a way of opening to the natural flow and power of prana that exists just innately all around us, the energy that sustains us on a cellular level and an energetic level. So thus, in Vinyasa yoga practice, expansive actions are initiated with the inhalation and contractive actions with the exhalation. So what that means is, I know you're both seated, which is like a huge feat in itself. Like just sitting comfortably is something that can be worked into. And it's not a given that, especially in our society, we grow up with chairs. Sitting on the floor can be very uncomfortable for some people. So just the fact that you are there is awesome. And so what Shiva Ray just said is that we're going to use our breath in a specific placement, to place in a special way. Nyasa V, Vinyasa. And you'll see it's so magic. It's a big part of the Vinyasa process. So we're going to start, just sit up in a way that your abdominal muscles are a little bit engaged so that you're lifting up out of your waist. And just start to touch base with your breath. You could open your eyes or close them, doesn't matter. Let's just breathe together for maybe 5 rounds. And you can imagine the breath lifting up on the inhale and kind of rinsing away on the exhale. Yawns are good. Any little movements that your body wants you to take while you're doing this is good. Start to touch base with these sensations of your body. Ask yourself, how am I right now, right here and now, this morning, in this moment? Let your exhale land you in your body with awareness. A little body scan now, moving your awareness away from your breath and into your body. Check in with your knees, your hips, your back, shoulders, neck and throat, your face, and the top of your head. Just notice if there's any tight places. And then see how your mood is this morning. And of course, a big component here is not bringing judgment to this. And one of the big challenges of Vinyasa yoga and all meditation and yoga is that as we notice, oh, that injury, that is really feeling tight this morning. God, I feel old. I feel fat. Meh. Okay. But really, what? Here we are, right here and now. How is my body? Oh, it's a little tight there. Okay. Breathe. How is my mood this morning? Oh, I'm really mad at so-and-so. I feel hurt. I feel nervous. I'm kind of broke. I feel kind of freaked out. Okay, let it be as it is. How is my energy this morning? Well, despite all that, I'm feeling pretty good, actually. I'm feeling kind of cheerful, a little hopeful, excited to be me this morning. Okay, so there's both existing in my body. Interesting. So just with curiosity and interest, I'll be quiet for a few rounds of breath, just checking in. And then let's set an intention. And the Sanskrit term for that, as I understand it, is sankalpa. So we're going to set a sankalpa, and it is about touching base with your heart's desires. What would you like to feel more of today? Strength, clarity, abundance, love, laughter, whatever you'd like to feel more of. Set an intention to move in that direction with these postures, to use your daily practice here as a tool to open and receive those heart desires. Is it okay to sit down and feel disturbed? Yes. Is it okay to feel old and fat? Yes. Is it okay to feel injured? Yes. And in fact, it's much better than repressing those thoughts. So we aren't bringing them to mind to dwell there, but to embrace that, to understand with compassion, tolerance, and patience that we have both dual nature. We have some discomfort, and then also we have comfort. We have a little bit of lightness to our attitude. We have a little bit of strength and feeling good about ourselves. So there's both. Awesome. And that's how we start Vinyasa practice. And then just to give a little example of moving with breath, when you're ready, let's inhale hands overhead and exhale hands down. So just as simple as that. We'll do it maybe 5 times. So as you inhale, lift your hands up. Maybe palms touch overhead. Try to relax your shoulders down. My palms aren't touching. My shoulders don't really like that. So that's okay. But palms are facing one another. And then when you're ready to exhale, take your palms towards the floor and just take your arms down. Slow and complete with your action. When you're ready to inhale again, go again. Inhaling, hands up. And just on your own, exhale, hands down. Inhale, hands up. Flowing with breath, 2 more. And pause. And then this time, take a breath in. And on your exhale, take your hands overhead. And then on the inhale, take your hands down. You could try it a couple times if you want. But that is to show that that way it feels funny. If you want to try it again, take a breath in and then exhale as you reach up. So whatever way feels a little counterintuitive, that's what to pay attention to. So in Vinyasa Yoga, you're going to see that we inhale to open, like we might be standing up, and then we exhale to fold. And then we would inhale to like halfway lift, to open, and then as we fold, we're going to exhale. So we exhale on the compressions, we exhale on twists, we exhale to contract, and we inhale when we open. So that's just a foundational idea behind moving with breath. Cool. Any questions so far? Any comments? Yeah. Good.
Through your nose mostly.
Oh, wait, I can't hear you.
Through your nose mostly. Do you exhale out of your mouth?
Scott, I can't hear you. Are you muted? Did I mute you?
That's a good question.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Is your volume up?
I can hear Scott.
You can hear me fine. I don't know, maybe I made you the primary screen. I don't know if that made a difference because you could hear me. Can you hear me now?
Scott, type, go down to the chat on the bottom, hover your mouse over the bottom and click chat and type your question.
Oh,
sorry, I don't know why we're having microphone issues.
Wait a second.
So generally in the midst of the flow, we're going to be breathing through our nose. That's a really, really good question.
Yeah.
It does matter. In the beginning of class, like when we're seated and we're just getting the kinks out, it's like you can breathe however is best for you.
Yep.
And there's also times, if I can remember, I will show you, there's times during the class when things get a little cardio and you get a little out of breath. That's a great time to breathe a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So that the mouth breathing, especially with the exhale, is a great tool. But in general, we're going to practice through the nose. There's a little bit of an advanced practice of breathing called Ujjayi breath, and I might save that for another class. But Ujjayi breath is a is a specific technique of breathing that goes perfect with movement in Vinyasa that is purely through the nose. So many people, practitioners of the type of yoga, do a specific nose breath that slightly constricts and evens out and steadies the breath. Because if your breath is steady, so is your mind and so is your energy, the prana behind the breath. That being said, sometimes we get out of breath, it's okay. And even it's ideal a little bit to get that kind of energy built. Yeah, Scott.
That's why I asked.
You said I had read that in what you shared, so that's why I asked. Yeah, great question. Thank you so much for reminding me. Okay, we are probably tired of sitting. If you sat for that long, really awesome. Thanks for listening and bearing with me. So we can now make our way up to standing, and we'll go through the Vinyasa postures, some of them, the main sequence. I've got y'all on gallery view, so I can check your postures too, but don't worry, I'm not nitpicking your postures. I'm just going to check, make sure you're doing well. You can practice yoga wearing anything. You can practice yoga without ever having set foot in a high dollar yoga clothing store. You can practice yoga without a mat. Some things you do need for yoga practice, asana practice, are a space that is relatively undisturbed. Now you might have kids and pets and roommates, but you try to block off a little bit of a time and a corner of your house for your own practice, ideally solo. Another thing that is a good idea before yoga is not to eat. So some body types, like mine, I usually eat a little bit, but I try to do it an hour at least before yoga. But I think the instructions from some of the yogic texts are like 4 hours, small snack. They generally avoid meat in yoga, but especially right before yoga practice. In Ayurvedic science, meat, eggs, and other foods, spicy foods, are to be avoided because they increase heat, they increase pitta, and in a calming practice, if calming is your goal, you would definitely avoid those. But yeah, avoid overeating before yoga, because if you have an empty stomach, you can more easily tap into your energy, your prana. All right. How are you doing on time? Good. 10:40. Okay, so to start this practice, you're going to start at the top of your mat, because we're going to do things like move backwards. We might step backwards. We might fold forward, but in general, we're not going to be moving that way. We're going to be moving behind us. So to start this flow, we'll start with our foundation, our feet. So spread your toes wide and set them back down, and then just do a little bit of rocking back and forth, lifting heels and lifting your toes, spread them, set them down. You're going to take a couple cleansing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. You could do some shoulder rolls, kind of feeling out tightness around shoulders, tightness around hips. Gently roll to the outer and inner edges of your feet, and that will bring your awareness to some of these stabilizer muscles. We want to keep our feet active. So it might sound kind of funny, but the feet muscles are so important to the rest of the practice. So feet as foundation and low body as foundation. So now start to just bring your chin parallel to the earth and looking forward. Roll your shoulders up, inhale. And then exhale, bring your palms to face forward. And feel as if someone is stretching your palms down towards your fingertips down towards the floor. So your shoulders are drawing down away from your ears. Nice. This is called Tadasana, mountain pose. And then from here, lift the energy up to your quads. So now your legs, and maybe even your glutes, are active and supporting your upper body. There's a system of chakras, and the energy moves up. So low body, very important to keep as strong as you can throughout the whole class. Feet and quads, even hips and glutes are a little bit active. So in Tadasana, it's a little bit of a lift in the heart and sternum because there's some pride. There's some, I don't know if pride is the right word, there's some celebration to being, celebrating existing. And this flow is called a sun salutation. It is a salute, Surya Namaskar, a greeting, a bowing to sun energy, or just, you can think of it as greeting and honoring the energy of existence, the energy of another day. So, starting in that active standing position, start to take some breaths in through the nose. Maybe start to close your eyes and find stillness. All right, and then just like we did when we were seated, inhale your hands over your head. Let your palms come towards one another, keeping your shoulders down, and then exhale your hands down towards the floor. And then again, inhale, hands overhead. And then exhale your hands down. This time, inhale your hands overhead and look up. So you're tilting your chin up, but make sure your low back is supported by strong abdominal muscles. Look up. Exhale, look forward, hands down towards the floor. Okay, final time here. Inhale, hands up, look up, chin towards the sky, a lift in the heart or sternum area. And then exhale, reach your hands out and hinge at the waist. And we're going to start to come into a forward fold. Posture in Sanskrit is called Uttanasana. And this one is, it can be challenging first thing in the morning. Generally, let some space be between your feet. Keep your feet muscles active. See if you can lift your toes and spread them even when you're in forward fold. Allow your knees to bend, that's fine. And then allow your knees to bend a lot so that your belly can maybe touch your quadriceps. And let your neck and head relax. Take a few rounds of breath. And monitor how you are. How's your body feel? How's your mind? How's your energy? We're going to stand back up. Inhale, sweep your hands out to the sides and then overhead. You can keep your knees bent on the way up and then look up, tilt your chin up. And then finish with your hands now at heart center. Let your thumbs touch the sternum. Keep your shoulder blades drawing together. Keep your quadriceps strong and your feet muscles strong. All right, so let's do it again and we'll add on. Inhale, hands overhead, look up. Exhale, arms down, forward fold. A full forward fold, 3 breaths. Let your neck and jaw relax. All right, and we're gonna add on. Next time you inhale, we'll take a halfway lift. So palms can slide up your shins in order to straighten your back. And then your gaze can be in front of your feet, a few feet. Somewhere where the back of your neck is in line with your spine. And now you can tell, you can feel your abs working, right? So one more inhale, lengthen your spine through the crown of your head with the breath in. And breath out, fold. Again, you're welcome to bend your knees, come into that forward fold. Let's do 3 of these. Inhale, halfway lift, palms slide up your shins. Toes could be lifting off of the earth because your feet are strong. Exhale, forward fold. And one more, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way back up, hands overhead, and take your gaze up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Finish with that breath out. Check in with your quadriceps. Are they strong? Are your shoulder blades drawing together? Again, inhale, hands overhead, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Breath out. Inhale, halfway lift. This time, plant your hands and step your right foot and then your left foot. And we're going to move back to a high push-up position. And we can do that on an exhale. Now here we are in high push-up position, and you can rock forward a little bit and rock back to kind of see where your energy is. And then here, there's a modification. You could drop your knees. You could drop your knees for support or keep your knees lifted in high push-up position. All right, so one more inhale. And then exhale, everyone drop your knees. And on that exhale, lower yourself all the way down to your belly. Yep, good. And then right away, let your legs come together. Let your legs be very strong. And then inhale, lift your heart. So at first, this is Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. At first, you can be pressing into the earth with your hands. But eventually, see if you can do this now. You could hover your hands off of the earth so that your back muscles are working. Good. And then this is an inhale posture. So exhale, set your forehead down. Let's try it one more time. Inhale, it's a back bend. Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Inhale, Cobra. And then exhale, forehead down. One more time. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, forehead down, slide your hands back, tuck your toes under, and push yourself to all fours. You can take a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, take a breath in. And then we're going to move to downward facing dog. Do you have a question, Scott?
No. Try to get my volume.
So from all fours, the next posture is downward facing dog. So that is this inverted V-shaped posture. Kind of one of those popular postures you've probably heard of. Your neck can be relaxed. I'm not going to give too much instruction on down dog at the moment. We'll get to it. It's called Adho Mukha Svanasana. From here, inhale, lift your heels, grip your 10 fingers, and walk your feet to the front of the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Remember the halfway lift? And then exhale, forward fold. Ground down through your feet. Inhale, stand up, sweep your hands overhead. Let your palms come towards one another, look up. And then exhale your hands to heart center, breath out. Good. Take a little break if you like. You can release your hands. It's going to get more and more fun. As you learn this muscle memory and your body starts to flow. It just feels great. All right. And some days postures feel great and you feel so amazing because you're sticking them. And some days you're falling out of the most basic postures. And so that's okay. Wherever the fluctuations of life have landed you in that day. Awesome. Good, Scott. All right. Yeah, we can start here in Namaskar. Reading the day. Get your feet round. Get your toes spread. Get your quadriceps lifting your kneecaps, shoulder blades gently together, and a little bit of a lift through the heart. Celebrating, right? Honoring. And then inhale, your hands overhead, look up. Complete your exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot this time, and then right foot back, high plank. Take an inhale, take an exhale. Take an inhale, take an exhale. From here, your next time you exhale, drop your knees, slide your legs together, and lower yourself down. Your elbows stay tight by your ribs. That's okay if you forget that. We'll come back and back and back to that instruction. And then inhale, cobra. Exhale your forehead down. Let's do another inhale, cobra. Exhale, forehead down. One more time, inhale, cobra. Exhale, slide your hands back, tuck your toes under, push up to all fours, and then ride that exhale to downward facing dog. Inverted V shape. Take 5 breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. I'm going to just check your postures. Good. Very good. This is a challenging posture and also a resting posture. You can close your eyes for a few breaths. So in this posture, just a few cues. Your heels work towards the earth. And that can be a challenge. That's a hamstring opening. So you might be feeling your hamstring. This is also an inversion where your heart is over your head. So after a few breaths, our body starts squirming and starts asking us to get back up straight. So we push through that initial urge by using the breath. 3 more breaths in this inversion, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Imagine your breath lengthening your spine and bringing the energy up. All right, one more inhale, lift your heels. Now grip through your 10 fingers, look forward between your thumbs and walk your feet to the front of the mat. And then inhale, halfway lift when you get there. And exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Are you starting to get the muscle memory of it? Good. Good. All right. So I'll move just a little bit quicker through this one. One movement, one breath. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale it out. Let it go and fold. Lengthen the crown of your head down. Next time you inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to high plank. Take a breath in, rock forward. Exhale, drop your knees, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, we're going to move to downward facing dog. So back to all fours, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. So we're ready for our next fun challenge. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. And this is just kind of a drill, just practicing. Maybe point your toes and then flex your toes. Nice. And then here's a fun little drill. Take a breath in and take your right knee towards your nose. Bring it under your body. And as you exhale, see if you can touch your knee towards your nose. And then we'll do it 3 times. Inhale, lift your right toes high. Exhale your knee to your nose. Crunch it in. See, it's a compression, so we exhale. Inhale, lengthening and opening. Exhale, knee to nose. All right, come back to the regular old downward facing dog. Good, and then inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, look forward, step your feet forward, and halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And you feel how these motions are like a pump, increasing your prana and distributing it through your body to where it needs to go, including your energetic body, your emotional body to heal, and the mental state, clearing out the crap, right? All right, let's do it again. A big foundational idea in Vinyasa is stillness and repetition. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back, high plank. Ride your exhale down to your belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, down dog. Let your feet be close together, or maybe touching. Inhale, lift your left leg to the sky. And I always lift my heel first, and then point your toes and play with that. Pointing your toes, and then flexing. All right, one more inhale, lift your left toes high. And exhale, bend your knee, bring it under your body. And see if you can touch your knee to nose. And then one more. And exhale. Inhale, lift your left toes. Exhale, set it down. Set your left leg down. And inhale, lift your heels. Look forward into your lungs. And strengthen your abdominal muscles. Walk or hop your feet to the front. And then once you're there, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, stillness, namaskar, thumbs connect to the heart. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, put your hands, step back, high plank. Ride your exhale down to low plank or to your belly. So low plank, chaturanga. Or to your belly. And then inhale for cobra. And exhale for downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under. Good. Inhale, lift your heels. Strong fingertips. Exhale, look forward. Soften through the elbows. And make an effort to hop. Just take a little hop with your feet towards good. And that's an exhale to hop, right? Because you're compressing. Good. And then inhale, halfway lift. That's a breath in. Exhale, breath out. All right, this time, inhale, chair pose. Let your feet come together if they're not already. And then sit down like as if in a chair. It's actually called, nice. Scott, bring your knees together. Let your knees and inner thighs help you by supporting like this. Yeah. So this is called chair pose. It's actually in Sanskrit called Utkatasana. And I've heard it translated from Sanskrit to English as fierce pose. It's pretty challenging. So this is a place where we are heating up our body. See if you can go a little lower. See if you can lift your toes, bringing the weight of your body back into your heels. All right, inhale, stand up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then relax your arms down by your side. Take a little break. You can shake it out. Excellent work. That is the foundation of the basic foundation of the Surya Namaskar flow. So we're gonna add a few more things and then, oh, it's already 11. Okay, so I'm probably gonna leave it at that today. We didn't get to our warrior series, and that's a really, really important part of the Vinyasa flow. So I think this class is probably gonna be a 3-part class. Today, we'll do Surya Namaskar. Next time, we'll do the Warrior series, which is includes the classic crowd-pleasing Warrior 2. and then we'll also do some of probably part 3 of this class will be the standing balance postures, such as the crowd-pleasing standing bow. And tree pose. Everybody loves the tree pose. So there's just a nice, Scott. Yeah. I wish you weren't working today. We would just spend the next 2 hours getting into it. But those basics, you could watch that class a few times this week. And then let's try to meet again next week and we'll go over the alignment of the Warrior series. It's not something to rush. The philosophy and the alignment of these postures, it's beautiful enough to spend some time on. But you guys looked great. My mom was practicing for a while. Scott, you looked awesome. Scott said, it's probably good for me to go in hour sessions. Yeah, exactly. Just little bites.
Yeah.
Ask how you feel, Scott, after all that breath and movement.
You can hear me though. No, you can't hear me.
I can hear you. I don't know why Steph can't.
Sometimes the Vinyasa flow leaves us feeling really good. And usually it leaves us feeling really good, but also it can also excavate some stuff. So there's times where you might feel nauseous, you might have a headache, you might feel angry or upset for no reason. And so that's all good stuff too. So that's a great way to start your day. Yeah. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Scott. I'm sorry I can't hear you on my computer right now, but I will message you privately after we leave.
Bye, Scott.
Bye, Carrie. Nice to meet you again.
You too.
On this end of the class.
And
always finish class honoring each other.
Yeah.
And honoring our practices. Yeah. No one has to do the Anjali mudra, but it is a nice mudra. It's a posture that is designed to conjure gratitude or create gratitude. So we leave smiling and we're grateful to each other, grateful to these practices, all of your practices, and grateful to ourselves. So take just a moment. You could silently state your name and thank yourself. And you can just ride that wave of gratitude into your day. Thank y'all so much. And one traditional way of ending your yoga class is with the word namaste, honoring. So, namaste.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks.